So I've gotten some few emails and calls, and people are always asking me anyway about just how do you turn these beads with the Skew Chisel. So I thought I'd shoot a little short video and insert it into where I'm making the continuous arm and show you how I do it. For those of you who want to see me turn a whole leg, there's a video on that. I think it's 7A and 7B on those videos. And of course, one of the keys is sharpening. Here's the skew, sharpening the Skew Chisel, and I've got a video on that too if you want to see how I arc it and grind it to a hollow grind and get that ready, because that's an awful important part of getting it. So we'll set up. I'm going to show you first without on a one that's already turned, and show you how I move the Skew Chisel along the piece, and then I'm going to chuck a little short piece in here and just turn just that section right there. So this is section right here that I'm going to show you how to do. So we've got the bottom of the vase, and I like that kind of onion look where it's tucked in underneath, and which means you've really got to get your Skew Chisel all the way around in order to achieve that. And then I'll show you how I do the bird's beak here, and of course I'm going to have to cut a cove just to do that, so I'll show you how to do that. And the fillet, and then this bead, and my cove is off-centered. The depth is right there, and the bead is off-centered, so the largest diameter is right back here. And I like for it to form a semi-curve and come right through the fillet like the fillet wasn't there. So I'll show you first just on this piece, and then I'll chuck one in. Now, the key here, with the way that, once again, with the way that I do it, and there's probably a lot of different ways of doing this, but is I like to get that Skew Chisel as low as possible, and I feel I have a lot more control with that. So on this one, I'm starting out. Just imagine the blade of the skew as a clock hand. And I'm a little bit behind 12 o'clock. I'm angled just a tad bit that way. And then imagine the clock hand, once again it's clock hand, so it's pinned right there. It pivots off of this point. So there's two initial moves. One of them is just that, just pivoting on the tool rest. And the other one is tucking the heel in, twisting it, and those two have to be coordinated. So if I'm not twisting it fast enough and I'm coming around with the clock hand, then the toe is going to get caught in there, which is a really bad thing. So you want to, at first when you're trying to learn, you want to tuck it, you want to err on this side, because if the heel gets into it, then nothing bad's gonna happen. So what I'll do is I'm coming around, pinned right here. It's not moving on the tool rest, so that's important. And I'm tucking that heel in as I come around. Okay? Keep tucking the heel in. Now, at that point, I run out of cut. And I've got to start moving it along the tool rest. And I just slide it along the tool rest, keeping that heel tucked in. And so here you're coordinating this with this, so you're coordinating two different moves. This one, you're coordinating this move with that move, and once you get all the way around, you're coordinating that one with this one. So if you're pulling around too fast, then you'll pull it off of the bevel, which is the control, and it'll corkscrew with you. You've probably seen that. I've seen it myself about 1,000 times. I don't see it much anymore, but I've turned probably 20,000 of these legs. It doesn't mean I don't see it at all, though. So the other is if you err on the side of moving too fast this way and not coming around fast enough this way, you'll just come out of the cut. Now if you come out of the cut, don't try to get back into the cut in the position where you are. Back all the way up, take a deep breath, start over again, go get a drink of water, and start it again. Come around, and you want to end up just perpendicular to the plane, and that gives you that complete tuck. Now over here on the bird's beak, there's no bearing surface to start with. So here you've got a bearing surface. Now one thing I didn't say, it's real important, is you have to start at that top dead center. If you start in back of that top dead center just a tad bit, it'll catch with you. So you don't want that. So the trick there is cutting at the top dead center, you know, getting that cut clean, but not starting in back of it. So you don't want to leave it, but you don't want to get in back of it right there. Down here you have no bearing surface, so I cut it with the heel. So you're going to pivot again, right like that, and I'll catch a little bit of wood, and just as soon as I get it where I want it, I'll roll it. So the fillet right here is really easy, and you just cut that with the heel, but you don't have to roll anything. You just pivot, and it's just that move right there, and you end up with this beautiful crisp clean edge on that. Here's the hardest part of the turning right here, and especially to cut it off center. Well, maybe not especially cut it off center, I don't know, but anyway, because I never cut it the other way. So same way as right there, I start it right like that, but I'm starting it more at an angle because I've got a shorter distance to go. So I'm starting it, say, at, what would that be on that side of the clock? 10 o'clock, like that. And I'll do the same thing though. I'll pivot, tucking it in until I run out of room, and then I'll start sliding it across the tool rest and pulling it around until I end up perpendicular. Now I've got to switch hands this way, and what's interesting for those of you who have seen the other video 7B where I turned the whole leg, where I filmed it maybe 3 years ago, I actually changed grips since then, and it just opened up a whole new world for me. You know, it's amazing. I've been doing that. I've been turning this leg for 27 years, and I changed grips, and you know, so it just shows you just discover things no matter how long you've been doing it. So I switch grips now, and I've got the same grip as if I'm going that way in this way, and it's so much better. So I'm starting out at about 2 o'clock, I guess, and once again pivoting, tucking that heel in, and when I run out of cut, then I start moving it around right like that and end up right at the fillet, and not quite perpendicular because I want it to come into the cove at the angle that the cove is right there. So it's pretty steep, but not quite perpendicular. So okay, so I'm going to change out my piece here and put on just a little short one because we're just going to focus just right on that, and be a little dummy, and I'll turn it. Alright, well, I've got the dummy piece up here. I'm going to turn those elements right here, and I'm not sure what speed I turn at. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 1200. This is an old lathe that doesn't have any speed gauge on it. My tool rest is about 1/8 of an inch below center, and is really close to the turning. So as close as you can get it to the turning is where I like it. Mine looks like to be about 1/8 of an inch away. So that's just the depth cut right there instead of using calipers. Moisture content, I'd say the moisture content of this, my guess would be 15%. I'll turn at about anything, straight out of the log or dry. I don't turn kiln dry. I don't have any kiln dry stuff. So first I'm going to define the bead back here. These cuts are just done with the toe. Keep the rest of the blade out of it. Turn it, move it over to the side about 20-some degrees, and then twist it, straightening the blade back up.
if you twist it over too far, it'll corkscrew with you. If you don't twist it far enough, it'll do that, come out of the cut. So twist it, straighten that blade out, catch you a little bit of wood, and go right in there. COVID gouge to get on it. And I like to turn, I don't know why, so I started turning one-handed to dampen vibration, and it's just the way I turn. So I'm just getting rid of some bolts right there. So for those of you who haven't ever heard me say this, I'm self-taught on this, so I do some stuff maybe a little bit not quite so textbook. So to cut this code, I've got the back of the bevel here. The back of the bevel is perpendicular to this long axis. So you see how far I've got it pulled over. And if you want to see how I sharpen this, go to my video. So you have to cut downhill, so you have to start from one side and from the other. The moves I'm coordinating are what's going in, it's moving this way, I'm opening it up, and I'm dropping it slightly. So those are the 4 moves. A little vibration there off the leg. There. There we go. You might want to caliper that. I run it down to about 3/4 heavy, something like that. I've turned a bunch of them. I don't need to caliper it. Doesn't mean I hit it every time. It means that I'm satisfied with whatever I end up with. So defining the bird's beak right here. About that width right there, and then I come in with those same moves. Now here's a nice little move. I just turn the skew chisel over, feel it, just turn it over, take it right in. Here, I'll get a little bit of this out of the way. This is where the base, of course, would go up like that. I guess that'd do. So I'll take off a little bulk on this, screw it up, make sure it's round. Yeah. Screw up this one, see how it's turning. Nice, it's nice. Okay, so now I'm ready to roll this with the skew, and I told you earlier that I start at 12 o'clock, but that's a lie. I start at 11 o'clock now that I'm doing it actually. So I'll put the skew up there, get the bevel rubbing, and slowly pull back on it, which engages the edge, and as soon as I see it and feel it engage, then I'll start rolling. So there's that one. Now I'm going to cut the bird's beak here. Now that'll be cut just with the heel. I'll come in with the heel and roll right like that, ending up perpendicular to the center line. It's a little big for me. So come in first and take out just a tad bit, and I think I like that. Okay, now the fillet over here. So the fillet is just a simple pivot. Right like that, that's all I'll do. Cuts it much cleaner than a parting tool. Okay, that looks good. So now the most difficult cut on the whole turning, the bead. So first I'll go right to left, then I'll switch hands, and I'll go left to right. So, and the bead will be off-centered, hopefully. Okay, let's see what we got here. Now look at that, didn't get all the way down. Okay, I thought I did. Well, we'll just start right back up here again and go right into that. That up just a little bit. Okay. Turn it off, see what we got. So not bad. I'm looking down in all these points to see if it's clean. Make sure everything's crisp. No tear out or chipping or anything. Make sure there's no gouge marks left anywhere. Looks good, so go practice.